bracket for the overall.
Orlando, New Jersey.
Yes, $1 return on that.
Weekday morning 7 to 9, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, a variety of light sprinkles and some sun and a high of 79 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south. Some clouds tonight, a very light wind and warm near 72. Mostly cloudy in the morning and then light showers and 80 tomorrow. 77 and mostly clouds in the morning, but otherwise sprinkles Thursday. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
Get your mom a beautiful color gemstone that she'll cherish and wear for a lifetime from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. And just in time, Tracy's Fine Jewelry is offering our entire collection of color gemstone jewelry, rings, earrings, pendants, and bracelets at 60% off. That's right, 60% off our entire selection. The largest selection and the lowest prices are just some of the reasons why people choose Tracy's Fine Jewelry to find the perfect gift for Mother's Day. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, 2621 East 15th Street in Panama City.
Krispy Kreme Donuts has a new Craving Cheesecake collection featuring 3 limited-time donut flavors. There's Strawberry Dream Cheesecake, Cookies and Cream Cheesecake, and Caramel Delight Cheesecake Donuts. All available at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937. Krispy Kreme Donuts, where you get them hot.
Is your restaurant looking a little tired from the long off season? Is your office a little offish? Start the new year off right by giving them a fresh start. Fresh Start Cleaning is now accepting new clients. Ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services. Fresh Start Cleaning. Get clean again with Fresh Start. Call 850-771-6917, 771-6917, and ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Inside Drive. And local from the Gulf Plus Studios. It's the next evolution of Sports Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good
Tuesday morning, you're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City Beach and Panama City to all the beautiful Bay County areas. 101.9 in Port St. Joe, the beautiful Forgotten Coast. Lots of fishing going on probably out there today, all up and down the Gulf of America. As always, you can download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search up. We're giving away T-shirts constantly.
I like that. T-shirts.
I don't know if that was a Northeast accent that kind of came out there. That was deep in there, wherever it came from. But yes, download our free mobile app, and you have a chance to enter contests all over the place and win yourself some free swag right here from ESPN Northwest Florida. All you got to do is search up 104.3. It'll pop up right there in your search results, and all you got to do is download it. Free stuff, and you can listen to us anywhere you have cell phone service if you are not in your car, because obviously if you're in the car close by, you can listen to us on the dial. You can also head over to ESPNPC.com. Listen to us live there as well. But while you're there, make sure you're watching all these sporting events, all these movies, all these different things while paying a lot less than I guarantee you currently are, unless you're just living in the bunny ears world where you're just getting that signal over the air, which is high definition in this day and age.
Yeah, it is.
But if you're not doing that, I guarantee $45 a month with code ESPNNW is cheaper than you're paying now. Over 5,000 streaming channels on demand. Of course, 10,000 movies on demand as well. But it also includes all the pay-per-view events, boxing, MMA, UFC, whatever you're looking to watch, and then all the sporting events that you could possibly want to watch. Again, that is Scorpion TV right there at the top of ESPNPC.com. David, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful, my man. Beautiful day outside. It was very cloudy over there in Callaway, but on the way over here, the sun started shining a little bit, so it was nice.
Yeah, no doubt. Beautiful day. Humidity's getting a little up. I think we got some more rain in our forecast maybe the next couple days, but you know what? That is quite all right.
Looking today, it looked like it was throughout the rest of the week, but, you know, it's saying 40%, 70%, so there's probably somewhere around a 25, 30% chance.
We're getting ever so closer to summertime in the afternoon pop-up showers. But you know what? That's the beautiful part about living here in the great state of Florida is we've got beautiful weather. I dare to say kind of year-round. This year we had some snow, which was
we had
pretty,
a season,
which is pretty wild. Yeah, we had some action with some wintry precipitation, so that was certainly an exciting moment for a lot of people, especially all the kids that may have never seen snow before.
I'll remember that day for the rest of my life just because of the fact, not even the fact that it was snowing, but that it snowed on my birthday. Something pretty cool.
No doubt, no doubt. You will always remember that. All right, let's dive into some local updates. I'm going to talk about some of the baseball that's still in action. Then, of course, I want to talk about that middle school track meet yesterday over there at Tommy Oliver Stadium, where there was a little extracurricular activity. I'm not going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, you got to.
As you've probably seen it on the news, you know, there was a little tussle, actually a pretty big tussle there that went down, you know, underneath the stands, unfortunately. And
was it between kids or parents?
Kids.
Okay.
Kids,
all right. Well, I think I did hear a little portion about it. I didn't watch the news last night.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, just, you know, I guess kids getting into
kids being kids.
Yeah, getting into a little fist fight action there. But, you know, everybody's good. And the track meet went on, and it was a great afternoon, a long afternoon. Those track meets start at 1 and about 6 for the county championship because you've got 11 teams competing against one another. But first, let's talk about the two baseball teams locally here that are still in action. And locally, I mean both right here in Bay County. I know we have more teams outside of Bay County as well. But Arnold got the first victory in the series against Clay last night in a well-contested game in a 2-0 shutout. So now Arnold will have an opportunity tonight, I believe, with Cooper Moss on the mound at 7 p.m. To beat Clay 2-0 in that series and get a trip down there to the state championship, which I believe is that in Fort Lauderdale where baseball is played. I think I heard people say that. But
I think that's where it's at, but it might be on a rotation, but I will go check.
I'm sure somebody will either comment to or text on that one. Hopefully I don't have as many oopses as I did yesterday. But yes, Arnold got the 2-0 win yesterday, looking good, and they can put it away tonight. And if they don't, obviously, hopefully they do, but then they'll have a third and rubber match game in that series against Clay. Let's jump down to the 2A Baseball Region 1 Championship. Bozeman's playing
Fort Myers is
Fort
where
Myers. So I had a fort in there, just the wrong fort.
Yeah. There's a lot of forts around
There's
it.
quite a few forts here in the state of Florida, but they're
Well,
not
just
actually
the country,
Yeah.
But
Is there
Sam
actually-
Granville texted that in.
Thank you, Sam, and thanks for listening, Sam. Does Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, do they actually have forts? Probably not.
Not that I remember.
I know Fort Sumter in South Carolina is an actual fort, and the one outside of St. Augustine as well has an actual fort.
Maybe they had a fort at one time, and then the tree house outgrew the tree.
Makes sense. Spanish Armada back in the day. Go to St. Augustine, learn a lot about those Spanishes. That's where they.
Spanishes.
Did I say is?
Yeah, Spanishes.
Spanish.
That's a good plural there. For
There you
Spanish.
go.
I like it.
It's the one. It's got the apostrophe after the S.
And
you
good
found
old
out
Google.
There you go. You found out some info.
Yes, Fort Myers was once home to a fort. It was built during the Seminole Wars and was later named Fort Myers, according to good old Wikipedia. The fort was abandoned after the wars ended, but was briefly reoccupied back in the 1860s during the Civil War.
Jeez, they needed to lock in there down there. That's pretty far away from where most of the battles were fought there in the Civil War. But hey, you never know how far it was going to get.
It was established in 1850. Fort Myers was named after Colonel Abraham Myers. Come to the Inside Drive for useful knowledge.
Useful history information. It just, it was a question. You name all these places, Fort something, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers. I'm sure there's other ones too, but those are the two big ones I can think of. But getting back to the Bozeman and Trinity Christian series, Trinity Christian and Bozeman just had to run through these private schools, mostly there in Jacksonville, and ended up losing 10-0 yesterday against Trinity Christian. But if you remember the previous series that Bozeman had against, or 2 series ago against Bulls, they lost the first game 5-17 and then came back roaring in that second game, won that one. Hopefully Bozeman can repeat that and keep going, because a trip to the state finals is on the line. The Final Four down there in Fort Myers.
There you go.
Not Fort Lauderdale.
Now you got me curious to see what kind of a fort there was in Fort Lauderdale.
That's the next progression here in this history lesson in the first segment here on the Inside Drive. Niceville and Lincoln get underway tonight. They did not play a game yesterday in the 5A Region 1 final, so we'll keep you posted on that result when we are on the show live tomorrow. In the Rural Championship, Holmes County is up 1-0 over Jay in that particular series in the region finals. They won 10-5 yesterday, Holmes County over Jay. And then Port St. Joe took down number 1 seed in that region in the rural bracket. They're up now 1-0 as they beat Cottondale 2-0 yesterday. So Port St. Joe down there on 101.9 has an opportunity to move to the state semifinals in the Rural State Championship. I just love to say Rural State Championship.
You're getting good at it, man. I'm like, wait, is he from Alabama?
I could be. Roll Tide. Is that what you have to say?
Yeah, and then you got to go kiss a cousin. That's how you really get indoctrinated.
Gotcha. Luckily, all my cousins are nowhere near here, and I really don't have that many cousins.
Just FaceTime them.
Yeah, there you go. Little air kiss. But yeah, so good luck to Port St. Joe. That game is coming up tonight. It looks like it's 6:30, but that's going to be in the Eastern time zone, right? Isn't Port St. Joe across?
Are they playing in Port St. Joe or Cottondale, though?
I think they're playing in, Cottondale for games 1 and 2. So that's central time. So 6:30 here in the Central time zone. Still trying to always try to pay attention to these time zone things when it comes to telling you when the games are. But you can, if you got to buy a ticket through GoFan, it's going to tell you what time the game is correctly as well. All right, I want to jump into the Bay County Middle School Championship. Obviously, I'm going to talk a lot about UA. That's where both of my kids go, but I'm going to talk about a lot of the other results as well. We'll start on the girls' side of things with the high jump. We had Hannah Roberts, who did 4.8, ended up clearing 4.8. She tried to clear 4.9 and unfortunately wasn't able to do that. But at that time, she already had locked up the number 1 spot as Monica Mahoney and Jerica Hughes, that's from Bayhaven and Surfside, they ended on 4.7. They cleared that but did not clear 4.8. So as soon as Hannah Roberts cleared 4.8, she was determined the winner in the girls' high jump. Got to give a shout out to my daughter Ryan, too. She had her personal record. She's never done high jump before. She started it this season and ended up finishing 4th in the county championship by clearing 4.6, which her previous high was 4.3. So very proud of her for doing that. 5th place, Nicole Bennett from Mowat and Alyssa Price from Mowat as well. Probably just live in the top top 5 in each of these. All right, back to the girls' long jump. It's pretty impressive numbers here. Jerica Hughes, who also was doing the high jump, she got a 14 feet, 11.5 inches on her third attempt to take the 9 points and the first place in the girls' long jump category. Monica Mahoney, obviously you're hearing some of these same names, and a little springy. Some of these girls had 14.7. That was on her first jump. They get 3 attempts. Obviously, if you foul, that attempt doesn't count. Hannah Roberts from Surfside Middle School had 14 feet, 2.5 inches. Michaela Peterman from Tyndall Academy had 14 feet and a half. And then Aaliyah Ramirez from Tyndall Academy as well had 13 feet, 9 inches. And then Aubrey Davis from University Academy, she's just a 7th grader, had 13 feet, 6 inches. That rounds out your top 6, I think I went through in that one. I wanted to get to Aubrey. She's an unbelievable athlete and a fantastic soccer player as well. The girls' discus throw, we had Kayla Jones from Jenks Middle School, 76 feet, 7 inches. Alyssa Price, another familiar name that's been at the top of these leaderboards with 73 feet, 9 inches. Trinity Turner from Mowat with 65.4. Takara Smiley from Jenks with 64.10. And Lola Onley from Bay Haven Charter Academy with 61.1. Dave, did you ever throw anything in, you never throw a discus?
Baseball.
Yeah.
I've thrown a Frisbee. Is that... I mean,
it's a little lighter than a discus.
Right? Yeah. No, I never did anything.
I'm pretty sure you tuck it under your arm when you throw it and you rotate around. I'm not an expert, but
our schools were so small, like we didn't have track and field or anything like that. So
in high school, or
yeah. I mean,
wow.
Dude, my graduating class was 12 people. And one of them was my cousin. So
there you go, Roll Tide.
Yeah, he was a he. So
hey, extra Roll Tide.
He's the road, right? Extra Roll Tide. That's a Roll Tide.
There you go. But yeah, I don't remember having track in middle school. Obviously, we had track in high school. We were a big school up there in New Jersey, but I don't remember having all these sports in middle school at all.
I was homeschooled in middle school, so we did play sports.
Yeah, they just weren't sanctioned by any type of school district. They were sanctioned by the David Hayes Academy.
They were like little league and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So they were sanctioned, just it wasn't school sanctioned.
Sanctioned. All right, on the girls' shot put, Kaylee Jones from Jenks Middle School had 33 feet and 10 inches. She got that and on her third and final attempt. And big shout out to Ella Granger from University Academy for second place and 31 feet and 1 inch. She got that on her third attempt as well. Congratulations to Ella, just an unbelievable athlete over there at UA. Basketball, volleyball, track and field, soccer, you name it, she plays it, and she's very good at all of them. Be on the lookout for her in high school as she will be graduating UA Middle School here this spring. Next, you had Haley Bush from Bay Haven Charter Academy with 30 feet, 10 inches. Carter DeJean from Surfside, 29.9. And then Ariel Coster from Bay Haven Charter Academy at 28.6. Congratulations, ladies, on a great shot put event there. The 100-meter dash, a lot of events here in the high school. Anaya Robinson from Palm Bay had a 12.99, followed right behind Ziona Bell from UA at 13.02. So only, that's 3/100ths of a second separating first and second. And Ziona Bell look out for her in soccer. She played on the UA team. She's the one that I posted that video where she just took on everybody and went and scored in that championship game. So remember that name. That's a name. She's a special athlete.
She going to be going to Arnold?
She's going to Mosley.
Oh,
going to Mosley,
okay,
yeah.
Nice.
A lot of the girls soccer players just making that transition right to Mosley High School. Nicole Bennett was in third. Jerica Hughes fourth. Monica Mahoney in fifth. Thaisa King and Vivian Blow made 6 and 7. And that was the 100-meter dash. I want to try to mention as many names as I can, but I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get. So I'm going to dance around just a little bit. The 1,600-meter run, a.k.a. the mile, was won by Sophia Huff with a time of 5 minutes, 55 seconds, followed by Halo Delgado Austin. Both of those girls were from Bay Haven Charter Academy, first and second, and a sub-6-minute mile there for Sophia Huff, so congratulations to her. You had several girls from Breakfast Point that came in third, fourth, and fifth, and then Mackenzie Duncan from Merritt Brown finished in sixth. Sophia Torres from University Academy finished in seventh. All right, let me go back. 1,600-meter run. Next, we're going to go the 4x100 meter relay. That was a great run, a 54.6 on the run, and that is a University Academy school record. That was Lily Flippin, Aubrey Davis, Vivian Blow, and Ziana Bell with a great 4x100 run there. Again, sub 1 minute 4x100. Those girls are fast. Congratulations to them on setting that University Academy school record. The girls 400 meter dash, Lucy Mulick from University Academy set a University Academy record with 1 minute 6.04 seconds. First place, though, went to Kaylee Reed from Bayhaven Charter Academy with a 1 minute and 4.64 second run there in the girls' 400 meter dash. That's one lap around the track. Elizabeth Griffin from Breakfast Point finished in second. Zion Sanders from Merritt Brown finished in third. And then Addison Mayorga, there it is. I just had to sound it out. Phonetics right here, right on.
That's a cool last name, too.
It is Mayorga. She's from Surfside. She finished in fifth. And Chloe Calloway finished in sixth. Kinsley Rochmal from Bayhaven finished in seventh. Ryan Mulvey from University Academy finished in eighth with a great 1 minute and 12.26 second time.
That's a cool name, too. Ryan Mulvey.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, very familiar.
It sounds familiar. I mean, it can get confusing around our house sometimes, but I can tell the tone between the different Ryans.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, I've learned that over the years.
Or you could just go straight to the middle name, and I think there's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, when you add the middle names, something's obviously not going the exact way you want it to go. We did finish first and second, we being University Academy, in the girls' 800 meter run, which is arguably one of the harder runs out there. That's 2 full laps around the track. Kylie Storvik had a time of 2 minutes 42.41 seconds, and then Ella Homestead finished second with 2 minutes 44.47 seconds. Sophia Huff, Nora Amon, Abigail Avery round out your 3, 4, and 5. Again, congratulations to those UA girls on those great 800 meter runs. You can feel how long this track meet took by how many these events I'm going through. The girls' 200 meter dash was won by Palm Bay Prep's Anaya Robinson with a 27.2 second run, followed by Jerica Hughes from Surfside, who's been all over these leaderboards with 27.51, and then followed by 2 Breakfast Point girls, Madison Fitzpatrick, Ivy Bell, and then from Tyndall Academy, Michaela Peterman. So that was the 200 meter, I call it a run, not a dash, because 200 meters is not a dash in my opinion. And then last but not least, you had the final run. That was the girls 4x400, where they're each running 1 lap, handing the baton off. That was also won by University Academy. I believe this was a school record as well. If Coach Danielle's listening, please correct me if it is not. But Lucy Mulick, Aubrey Davis, Kylie Storvik, and Ziana Bell won that one with a 4 minute 31.52 second run. 3 great splits on those laps each. So almost certainly a sub 5 minute 4x400. And then going to the team scores, the 2025 Girls Track County Champion with 90 points went to Bayhaven Charter Academy, followed by University Academy finishing runner-up with 78 points, Surfside Middle School with 61, Breakfast Point just on their heels with 60 points, and then it went Mowat, Jinx, Tyndall, Palm Bay, Merritt Brown, and North Bayhaven. So congratulations to the winners, the Bayhaven Charter Academy and University Academy being runner-up. It was a great track meet yesterday. The weather was fantastic. The sun was out in full, not a cloud in the sky. If I get a little bit of time later on in today's show, I will jump through some of the boys' results, as I don't want to leave the boys out. But when we get back, we're going to hear from our good friend Steve Alexander and see what his thoughts were on those 2 wild upsets last night. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back with Doc A.
Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straight away center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, a variety of light sprinkles and some sun and a high of 79 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south. Some clouds tonight, a very light wind and warm near 72. Mostly cloudy in the morning and then light showers and 80 tomorrow. 77 and mostly clouds in the morning, but otherwise sprinkles Thursday. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
That boot store reminds you Mother's Day is just around the corner. Make it a Western Mother's Day by shopping that boot store. You'll find a huge selection of Western wear for the youngest to the oldest mother, and at prices you can afford. Gift certificates are available too, so Mom can shop for herself. That boot store open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. That boot store next to Bill Bird Kia, 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
Introducing Water Clear Pools, the home of the 10-week pool guarantee. We guarantee custom pool completion from permit to your first swim in 10 weeks or less. Water Clear Pools is the premier pool builder for the Margaritaville development on Highway 79. Free quotes and custom pools anywhere in Northwest Florida. Call now, 850-835-4177, or see our website, waterclearpool.com. Licensed and insured. License number CPC 1459723.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. And now,
Doctor, my eyes.
Doc A joins the Inside Drive. It's just what the doctor ordered.
Oh, doctor!
Talk to your doctor before use.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Feel like I haven't talked to him on the radio in a long time directly. Obviously been talking to him off the air, as I always do. But that is NBA Fantasy Hall of Fame writer, self-proclaimed Golden Tee hack, and of course wagon wheel enthusiast, our good friend Steve Alexander, but we call him Doc A. Doc, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm not sure my voice is going to hold up for this, but we're gonna try it.
Well, we just appreciate you being on with us today because obviously there's a lot of playoff action going on. And so far in the 3 series that have gotten underway, the underdogs have gotten the big upset wins. Talk a little bit about last night's games. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see either one of them live, but was trying to catch up on things this morning. But a couple shocking wins there, some may say.
Some may say that. I actually, in my ESPN betting column that I do, I told people to do the Pacers win the series at plus 360, the Knicks win the series at plus 500, and Oklahoma City in 5 at plus 175. Now, Denver came back and somehow beat Oklahoma City last night. So, if you took Denver plus a game and a half or straight up to win the series, you're feeling pretty good right now. But I think most people probably took Oklahoma City. And I said Denver was going to get one game. Maybe that's the game they get. But, yeah, these series are crazy. The Pacers look really good against Cleveland, and Darius Garland is hurt. And then, of course, my Knicks came back from being down 20 at one point and beat the Celtics in Boston, which was huge.
Yeah, in overtime, and I guess that was if I read it correctly, the largest blown lead in Celtics playoff history and the largest playoff comeback in New York Knicks playoff history, which is pretty spectacular. I think there was one more record from that game. I believe it was the most missed three-pointers in a playoff game, with 45 missed three-pointers there by the Boston Celtics. What happened to the Celtics? Why did all their shooters go so cold?
I don't know, and I think they missed like 15 out of their 16 shots in the third quarter, and they were all three-pointers. Very weird. I think, live by the three, die by the three. That's what they say, but everybody just went cold. I think complacency may have set in. They thought they had the game won.
Yeah, absolutely, which is not what you ever want to do when it comes to basketball, because you go on these quick 8, 9, 10-point runs in the blink of an eye and the game's tied up. Did Kristaps Porzingis go out in the second half as well for that game?
I was in an establishment playing Golden Tee and watching the game with no sound on. So I don't have any live reporting on that. I used to, for my job, I used to write up every game right after it happened. And I can tell you everything that went down, but I don't really have to do that anymore. It's kind of just play Golden Tee now, so I don't know.
Living the dream.
But looking at the box score, he only played 13 minutes. So
yeah, it said Porzingis left in Monday's Celtics game in the second quarter with what the team described as a non-COVID illness. It'll be unclear whether he'll be good to go on Wednesday. If he is not good to go, I know he wasn't really a big part of their run last year. He came back a little bit later in the playoffs. Is this an issue for the Celtics going forward in this series against the Knicks?
It is, yeah. They're already down one game, and Porzingis is one of their best players, and he has a revenge factor built in. He wants to beat the Knicks more than anyone because he used to play there. They do have Al Horford, and they do have Luke Cornett, so the Celtics can obviously survive losing Porzingis, but it's certainly not ideal. I mean, they'd like to have him there.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? Obviously, they're up one game in this series on the road. Can the Knicks be the team to finally knock down the Celtics from making it to the NBA Finals?
I hope so, man, because if you remember, like last July, I think I was on your show, and I said it's going to be Oklahoma City and the Knicks in the finals. So on a personal level, I would love to see that happen. I don't know if they're good enough. They only play 5 or 6 guys. They're going to run out of gas at some point, but, they can win this series.
Yeah, depth obviously in the playoffs is so very important. I think that's what we saw there with the Lakers and the loss that they had in their series. They just didn't have the depth. They left the guys in there for so long. So hopefully the Knicks can maybe be a little more conditioned for these deep playoff runs. Which team do you think out of the two teams that lost last night, will bounce back the best in Game 2?
I think they will both bounce back, but I think the Thunder got a wake-up call, and they are gonna take out their revenge. Hopefully, for the next 4 games to get this thing wrapped up. Because I still think they're the best team. I did not like the way they finished up that game last night, but I still think they're the best team.
Because they were up by, 10 or 11-ish with not a whole lot of time left in that game? Maybe 7-8 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, they were up the whole game.
Because the first lead for the Nuggets was when they took the lead, or at the end of the game when they took the lead, which, is kind of crazy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But how much does the veteran experience matter in the NBA playoffs?
I think it matters a lot. I think that's why Denver won that game. Westbrook and Jamal Murray and Jokic. The Thunder just don't have that pedigree, that playoff pedigree that the Nuggets have. And then you look at that Knicks-Celtics game. Celtics have a ton of experience, but so do the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. So they've got a lot of guys too. So I think it matters. It really matters when it's a team like Houston against Golden State. Houston had a better team. Golden State had more experience. That's why they won that series.
Yeah, makes sense. And Golden State just seems to have the Houston Rockets number when it comes to the playoffs. We were talking about a little bit about that yesterday, and how Steph Curry hasn't lost to the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. And 2 of those series went to a Game 7, and both of them were on the road. You and David's Indiana Pacers took care of business against the East Best yesterday, 2 days ago, when they beat the Cavaliers in Game 1. What were kind of your takeaways from that game? Why did the Pacers win that game? What happened to the Cavs? What are your kind of thoughts on that exciting win there for the Indiana Pacers?
Well, Tyrese Halliburton is all bent out of shape because he was voted the most overrated player in the NBA. Only 17 players out of 98 voted for him. but it motivated him, his dad, his coach, his team, the city of Indianapolis. My buddies, I'm from Indianapolis, so I get text messages all day long that say things like, overrated, really, now? What are you saying that? Like, everybody's fired up about this overrated thing. The Pacers looked really good. Darius Garland was out. That hurt Cleveland, obviously. And if he remains out, the Pacers are going to win the series, I think. If Garland is back, it's still going to be a really good series because you were talking about experience. Tyrese Haliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, they've got it. And Cleveland has it too. Donovan Mitchell and Garland and Mobley. But I think this Indiana team is a little more polished playoff-wise than the Cavaliers are. And I thought all year the Cavaliers were kind of doing this with smoke and mirrors, whereas Oklahoma City to me was the best team in the league, and Cleveland just doesn't even look like the best team in the East to me, but their record certainly says they are.
Yeah, no doubt. You kind of thought they were going to come back to a quote-unquote reality at some point, but they just kept winning, and maybe the playoffs are when that particular thing stops. Because when you get to the playoffs, all those records, all that stuff goes out the window except for home court advantage. You had mentioned Haliburton's dad in Indiana, the family. Had you ever seen an incident like that, quote-unquote, in any NBA games before where a dad of a player got in the face of another player that they were going against?
No. I remember everybody talking about Jeff George getting carted off the field in Illinois, I think it was, and his mom was walking off the field with him. And everybody always made fun of that. But as far as that dad getting in somebody's face like that, I don't recall that.
And I guess I think I saw something. Was he banned for all future Pacers home games?
I think he's banned for all the playoffs.
Gotcha. So maybe
these playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just
which kind of it's kind of sad. I wish Tyrese kind of called him out on it. He was like, he's my dad. I love him, but he shouldn't have done that. And I think had he just gone, I wish the commissioner would have said, will you promise me you're not going to do anything like this again, and let him go to the games? Because I'd be pretty bummed if my kid was trying to win a championship and I couldn't go watch it.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially when all the other NBA players gave him that billboard material, and he's certainly living up to that. I get it was a survey through The Athletic and all that stuff, but, if I was another NBA player and I knew the Pacers were in the playoffs, I probably would not vote for him to get him over that hump because, what's a better motivation than that coming out right before you get into the playoff run? It's just, it's like the billboard material you get when you're playing a rival or something like that, or somebody calling you out. So, I don't know. Haliburton certainly rising to the occasion. Game 2 is tonight. What do the Pacers have to do to take a 2-0 lead back to Indianapolis?
They just got to keep doing what they did. And back to your point about the overrated thing. It is incredible to me that just this little survey that no one was probably. Did you hear any other names off of that list other than Tyrese Haliburton? I didn't. It was so non-celebrated and not talked about when it hit, and then they just take this little jab and have turned it into a whole mantra for the state of Indiana at this point. So, this game is at Cleveland. It's game 2 at Cleveland. This is a must-win for the Cavaliers. They have got to win this game. They do not want to go down 2-0 at home and they go out to play 2 in Indy. I think they're going to have to figure out a way to stop either Haliburton, Siakam, or Miles Turner, because all three of those guys played really well in Game 1 and are kind of a three-headed monster. They've got to stop one of those guys.
The Pacers are a 7.5-point underdog on the road. Do we autocorrect here and think that that's a really good line for the Pacers, or should we be worried that the Cavs are going to come out? Like you said, this is a must-win game for the Cavs heading back to Indianapolis. So what do you think about that line? 7.5 is kind of a tricky one for me.
It is tricky, and everything you said is built into this. It's at Cleveland. It's a must-win game for them. There should be a correction, and Darius Garland may be back to help that correction go. But these Pacers are dogs, man. They're not scared. They're not. They're totally believing they can go in and win this game, and they're not messing around. And they are mad about being overrated. And I think I would take the Pacers and the points.
I like it. That was the answer I was looking for, Doc. What about 229.5? I've been fairly successful on the over-unders so far in the NBA playoffs. That one, that's a big number. That's a little tricky. I mean, you got to have both teams over 115 points. Is that going to happen tonight, or is the defense going to prevail a little bit?
I think it'll happen again. They both run. The Pacers get the ball and they just go, and so does Cleveland. That number's high, though. I think I would take the under there. It's going to be close to that, but I don't like how high it is.
Yeah, let's pivot to the other game coming up tonight, and the first game of the series between the 6 and 7 seed. That's the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are minus 6.5 at home. Over/under is 210, and I always use Hard Rock Bets here in the great state of Florida. You can download that in the Apple Store or Google Play Store.
This is going to be a fun series. Anthony Edwards is I think he's going to show out in the series, kind of like he did against Phoenix last year when he went up against Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I think he wants to put Steph Curry on a poster and all that. And this is going to be one of those experience versus youth games. And can Curry and Draymond and Jimmy, playoff Jimmy Butler, and their experience win out against, I guess, Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert, because there's not much else going on in Minnesota. It's another one. I like getting points with good teams, and the Warriors are very good. And you're going to give me 6.5 points to play with Curry and Jimmy Butler and Draymond. I'll take it. I like the Warriors and the points.
Sweet. I like the logic behind that as well. Good teams getting points can be a tricky thing. Golden State on Hard Rock, for all those listening, is plus 200 to win on the money line. So getting 2-1 odds there for them just to win straight up. Minnesota is minus 275 to win straight up. Doc, what do you think about the total points? 210. I think they're thinking the defense is going to be a little bit better in this game than the earlier game tonight.
Yep, it should be. I don't know that the Warriors are sprinting up and down the court anymore these days. All those dudes are like 35 years old. The good news is, unlike the L.A. Lakers against the Timberwolves, the Warriors actually have some big guys to throw at Rudy Gobert. So this should be more a half-court game. It'll be a lot of big men play. And then you'll have Curry and Ant kind of running into each other. I don't love the over or the under on the point total here. I would probably lean under on that one as well.
Gotcha. I mean, it's the crazy thing with these games is, it really just could go either way. And, Doc, so Hard Rock does this thing every day. They've been doing it for a little while. It's called the Battle of the Bets. And what happens is they throw a bunch of free bonus bets into this big pool. And if you get the bet correctly, obviously you win whatever the bet is too. But then you get a free bonus bet today. And they always make it real tricky, and they leave a big gap between the 2 point totals. And it's either each team to score 98 or fewer, or each team to score 109 or more. 7-1 odds on both of those. Again, if you win that bet, you get some free bets, but they leave about a 10-point gap when they do these because I think that's where they think the total is going to fall, and then they don't have to give anybody any free bets. But if you were to lean towards one of those, which one would you do, the 98 or fewer or the 109 or more?
I would do the 109 or more. One of these, it's all 4 teams tonight, right?
Yes.
I mean, the Pacers and Cavs are both going to score 100. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the second one.
Okay, perfect. Well, Doc, I appreciate that and appreciate your time as always. Your voice sounded pretty good all the way through. Sorry if we put a little extra stress on that voice, but always good to hear you and appreciate you jumping on. Enjoy those games tonight, and I look forward to talking to you next Tuesday.
Awesome, man. Have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Doc. Take care. That was Doc Alexander. He is a NBA Hall of Fame fantasy sports writer. Pleasure to have him on every Tuesday with us here on the Inside Drive. We got to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to dive into some of those NHL playoff action and, of course, lots of random news to go through. You're listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Everyone in the area knows that when it comes to portable buildings, Bestway Portable Buildings is the best in portable, period. And now they offer screen enclosures too to help keep those vicious yellow flies, mosquitoes, and no-see-ums away. Need a pole barn? Bestway can do the job. See Bestway Portable Buildings just north of the old mall on Highway 231. Online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. Bestway Portable Buildings, the best in portable, period. And a golden age business.
360-degree protection of your home, 365 days a year, one low monthly price.
Broad Lawn and Pest Control offers an affordable program that provides our customers with peace of mind. Broad 365.
We like bundling pest control with termite protection for a low monthly payment. We couldn't be happier with the results. Most treatments are done outside, and we haven't had any issues in over 3 years.
Call us today for your free consultation.
Broad Lawn and Pest Control.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you, serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive. We're betting the limit and covering the spread. The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, let's pivot for some NBA action and head over there to the ice. We had one game played last night, a couple games coming up tonight. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I want to say surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, but took down the Florida Panthers last night in a 5-4 contest to take a 1-0 series lead there at home, despite them trying to give up that game.
Yeah.
In the third and final period there. Toronto left the first period with a 3-1 lead, left the second period with a 4-1 lead. At that point, you're like, all right, they're going to cruise, they're going to win this game. But if we recall the last couple Game 7s from this past weekend, both of those teams came back from a multi-goal deficit, including both 2-goal deficits there. 3-goal deficit to come back them in this game, though, for the Florida Panthers. They got close. They got it to 4-3 early into the third period, but then with 6 minutes to go in the third period, Matthew Knies, if I pronounced that correctly, scored another one to put the Maple Leafs up 5-3. Sam Bennett scored with a little over 2 minutes left in the game to get it to 5-4. Had chances late in the game. At one point, I thought they were going to tie it up, but fortunately, the Maple Leafs held on and will take.
Did you say fortunately?
Well,
fortunately for them.
Fortunately for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you do own a
I do have a shirt. It was purchased for me.
That.
Maybe I'll wear it if they keep doing good. But then I feel like a little bit of a Canadian bandwagon there.
Well, they definitely went over.
Yes.
Goodness. 5.5 goals or whatever it was.
Significantly over.
But yeah, I had Florida taking that opening game on the road, and it did not work out that way. We'll see how the rest of the series goes. Obviously, Toronto, they always find a way to kind of met it up, if you will. But they've been playing decent hockey to this point. Obviously, Florida's played really good. We'll see if they can bounce back. It was a great start to the series. And like you said, Toronto, I mean, they looked like they were going to run away with the game. And then all of a sudden, here comes Florida chipping away, which by that point, I had Florida -1.5. So it was like, whatever. I don't really care. But I like seeing Florida lose. But I also don't want to see Toronto go on. So I'm in a conundrum watching this series.
Indeed. Goaltender Anthony Stolarz took an elbow to the head. I believe that was in the maybe early first period, second period, and there's not going to be any punishment divvied out for that elbow, but he left the game. Actually,
talk about the goalie?
Yeah.
That was a weird situation.
I think he threw up on the bench or something like that too, and that certainly sounds like symptoms of a concussion. So we'll keep you updated on his status. But Joseph Woll came in and stopped. Looks like he stopped 20 shots and he had 20 shots against, stopped 17 and let 3 go through, all 3 of those goals being in the third period. So a story developing there, but I think Joseph Woll can hold down the cage should Anthony not be able to go in the next game. But I don't know if the concussion protocols in the NHL are the same as the NFL. I'm sure he has to get cleared to play, especially being a goaltender when those pucks are being fired at you all game long. But a couple games on the docket tonight. We'll probably pick those later on, so I may just hang tight right now and get to some other recent news stories. With this one, I don't know if it's surprising, but maybe it is, because he's been a long-time NFL player for this one particular team. But Justin Tucker was released by the Ravens amid the NFL investigation into improper conduct. However, the Ravens say it was not because of that. The Baltimore Ravens released veteran kicker Justin Tucker on Monday after 13 seasons with the team. The Ravens announced the move and released a statement from Executive Vice President and General Manager Eric DeCosta, calling it a football decision that was incredibly difficult. The team also thanked Justin Tucker for his years of service. Tucker is currently under league investigation after allegations of sexual misconduct. In January, an article from the Baltimore's Banner, Julie Sharper, Brenna Smith, and Justin Fenton detailed accusations of inappropriate sexual behavior against Tucker by 6 massage therapists. In February, 7 more massage therapists brought forth allegations against Tucker. A total of 16 massage therapists say Tucker's actions occurred between 2012 and 2016. Must have been hanging out with Deshaun Watson there.
Yeah, rivals become friends.
That's it. In a statement released after the article from the Baltimore Banner, Tucker denied the allegations, calling them unequivocally false. I'm not going to read his big statement. Amid the investigation, the Niners drafted kicker Tyler Loop in the 6th round of the NFL draft last month. On Sunday, Baltimore head coach John Harbaugh addressed having both kickers in the locker room and said any decision made has to be based on football. I would just say from the standpoint of the investigation and all that, we don't know anything, Harbaugh said via the team's official transcripts. We haven't been given any information as it should be. It's all done the way it's done, so we don't know anything along those lines. You can't make any decisions based off of that. Every decision we make has to be based on football. There are a lot of layers to that. You've got a rookie kicker in here. We took him in the 6th round, early in the 6th round. He's a talented guy. Just from a football standpoint, salary cap, and all the different things you have to take into consideration, whatever we decide to do over the next few weeks will be based on football. Loop, who played for Arizona, made 126 of his 128 extra point attempts for the Wildcats and had a career field goal percentage of 83.8. He made 7 of his 8 attempts between the 40 and 49 yards and kicked 6 of his 9 attempts from 50-plus as a senior. Tucker is a 7-time Pro Bowl but struggled in 2024, posting a career-worst 73.3 field goal percentage and missing 2 extra points. Justin Tucker, arguably one of the best kickers to ever play the game, is no longer a Baltimore Raven.
Yeah, that's I get where they're coming from saying it's just football. I think that there has to be a combination of it, right? Like, if none of this is going on, do they give Justin Tucker a chance to rebound? Because statistically, he was down last year. There's no doubt about it. Was some of this kind of playing in his mind, right? Because by the time we hear about it, there's no way that those things haven't been going on, like the murmurings or his lawyer contacting him saying, hey, these things are going on. I'm hearing about this, whatever it may be. So did that have anything to do with him kind of being off of his game? And when you go out there and draft a kicker, I would have thought, I mean, they could have went through the whole entire offseason, you know what I mean? Yeah. And go into preseason and, after the first game, then you release Justin Tucker. I guess my
Unless
question
he was owed some kind of money or something like that.
Right, but they're still, releasing him right now, and I would imagine that the further that you get on, the cheaper it would be to release someone without seeing the contract details. I have no idea about that. I guess my question to you with this, from this, would be: do you think that he signs with the team before the season, middle of the season, or he's not playing football next year?
I think he's definitely playing football next year. I think it's a situation where somebody's going to need a kicker, and if he's still been practicing, which I'm assuming he's going to be doing, because you don't just stop kicking, he may be a valuable pickup for somebody that gets a kicker injured or a kicker that's struggling, right? And obviously you're going to take a risk because what's going to happen with the allegations if they find him to be true? Is he going to get the Deshaun Watson penalty?
I think he's going to try to go back to college and kick for Bill Belichick.
Ooh, there's a thought. He's got some eligibility left.
I don't think so. I think once you sign that NFL contract, you're done. You've eliminated your eligibility there. But it'll be interesting to see what team kind of takes a flyer on him and is willing to kind of go through the battle with him as well, because we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Deshaun Watson got to keep on playing football. Obviously, if Justin Tucker was a quarterback and he was a good quarterback, I don't think that we're really even talking about him being released necessarily. So we'll see how it plays out. I do think that it'll be a middle of the season type acquisition. Maybe not middle, maybe early on, but once a kicker goes down, I can see a team like I'm trying to think of who. I
can think of the Niners picking him up despite all the off-field stuff, because Jake Moody had such a terrible year last year. Cost us some games in reality. I know we've got one signed, but Justin Tucker obviously can go in there and make a big difference for a lot of different teams.
So we're both on the same wavelength. I wasn't thinking 49ers, but I was thinking with my team, but I think we had Nick Folk last year. I think he did a good job.
Absolutely. But interesting to see the longtime Raven be released based on a football decision. And like you said, David, obviously his numbers were down. How much of that was affected by all the offseason stuff? Because kickers remind me a lot of like golfers that if your mind is not clear, you just turn a slight movement one way or the other and you're missing field goals. And as a kicker, you're either the hero or the GOAT. There's a lot of pressure on those kickers. Obviously a lot of pressure on quarterbacks as well.
I think they'll end up sticking with Nick Folk, though. He had the 5th best field goal percentage in the league last year at 95.5, and then he made 100% of his extra points too, which is kind of a rarity
because since they've moved it back, they're usually at least missing 1 or 2, and you miss an extra point at the end of the game, that 1 point makes a huge difference. So 100% from extra points and 95%, I doubt he's going anywhere.
I mean, he's older, he's been in the league for a good little while now, but drafted in 2007.
Woo!
Kicker's life,
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Anderson, these guys that kick forever, I guess as a kicker, you've got a lot more longevity because typically you're not getting hit too often. Typically. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you don't get beat up as much in practice, in the games. You're usually just over there on the sideline or out on the field kicking field goals. But yeah, Justin Tucker released from the Baltimore Ravens. Real quick, the Florida State women's golf team, they've completed round 1. I'm pretty sure round 2 is underway as well. But through round 1, they had a 7-stroke lead as their team shot a leading 7 under par. That is 7 strokes better than Georgia Southern and Kansas State, who are both at even par. Just a reminder, the top 4 from each regional head over to the national championship, which is being played in Palm Springs again this year. Several Florida State players under par. That's the reason why they are sitting at 7 under par. That starts with the great leading round from Mirabelle Ting, ACC Player of the Year. She shot 68 in that first round up there at Nicholsville, Kentucky at Keene Trace Golf Club, playing on the Champions Trace course for anybody who's been up there and played. Second place was a girl from Western Kentucky, but you also had Lottie Wode, who shot, where is she? She shot 1 under par, and as well as Sophia Fulbrook. So 3 Florida State players out of the 5 were under par, leading to that 7 under par score. So good luck to the Lady Seminoles as they continue on the next couple days. Let me see if I can find an update real quick on where they are right now. Round 2, because this is not on GolfStat, which is kind of surprising. Where is the live scoring? Anyway, it looks like I just got round 1, but I'll see if I can find round 2 and talk about it here in just a little bit. Your Atlanta Braves got a 4-0 victory last night.
Yeah, they did.
Looking pretty good there. And
looking better than Callahan's arm.
Yeah, no doubt. But they will continue the series against the Reds, and if they can somehow sweep all 4 of these games, they will find themselves a game above 500.
Who would have thought it was possible?
Right? 2 more wins, though, and they'll get to that 500. All of these games at the same time, right after the afternoon underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, starting tonight at 6:15, and then Wednesday night at 6:15, and Thursday night at 6:15, and then they'll roll right into a 3-game weekend series against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, need to take advantage of this little stretch here.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it back to 500 and beyond, and right the ship and get moving, because they're really not that. The division obviously is being led by the Mets, who are having a great season so far. But besides the Mets, the division's all pretty darn close. And obviously, we got a long way to go before we start talking about that wild card race. We got to take a quick break. When we get back, it'll be time to dive into our afternoon delight debrief. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
Hi, this is Dave Neat from Panama City Beach, and I just won $250 from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida playing the Big Bracket Challenge. Thank you so much to Pepsi, Panama City, Toyota, UCB Hobby for making this happen. It was a lot of fun playing against other listeners and staff. Can't wait for next year. And go Ducks!
It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, a variety of light sprinkles and some sun and a high of 79 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south. Some clouds tonight, a very light wind and warm near 72. Mostly cloudy in the morning and then light showers and 80 tomorrow. 77 and mostly clouds in the morning, but otherwise sprinkles Thursday. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and Hometown Towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios.
Skyrockets in flight.
And now, the Afternoon Delight Debrief with the three degenerates from the Inside Drive.
Afternoon Delight.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Skyrockets in flight. Afternoon Delight.
And we are back to listen to the Afternoon Delight Debrief right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. The Inside Drive on 104.3 in Panama City and Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, down there along the beautiful Forgotten Coast. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, just search it up, ESPN Northwest Florida. If you already follow or subscribe, we appreciate it very much. Feel free to share those shows as well. It just helps get the word out there as we approach the new voting for the Best of Bay. Hopefully the nominations went through, and we've got some ESPN Northwest Florida radio personalities in the mix to win again this year, but we can't do it without you. Keep an eye out for that as we get ever so closer to June 1st. Here we are, May 6th, and already talking about June 1st. But yeah, so make sure I'll keep you posted on all that. Don't worry, I'll have lots of information to be shared out there. As always, download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 or 104.3 is all you have to search up there. You find it, you download it. Lots of contests going through that app right now. T-shirts being handed away left and right. Like I said yesterday, we're pretty much playing Oprah on the show. Everybody gets a T-shirt. You get a T-shirt, but you don't get a T-shirt unless you download our free mobile app. I already told you how to find that. Go ahead and download it. Get it on your phone. Get it on your iPad. Whatever you use for your handheld devices. And then also you can head over to ESPNPC.com. Right at the top, you'll see the link for Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 streaming channels on demand. Of course, 10,000 movies you could watch anytime you would like to. And it's a mere $45 a month with code ESPNNW. Make sure you download that. Check it out. Your TV should have the TV channel app. Once you follow the prompts, send you an email. Really easy to do. Lots of listeners have already signed up for that. Don't miss your opportunity to check out Scorpion TV. Got to give a shout out to our studio sponsor. We had Alan Watson on the show yesterday, talking a lot of golf, talking about some of the things he's got going on there in the studio. Lots of new gear, some new putters, but they're fitting, retail, and repair, guys. If you're looking to get better at the game of golf, obviously go see my boy Jay Henley, but make sure you got the right equipment in your hand as well. If you fish, if you hunt, you're making sure you're using what works best for you and your style. Golf is no different. If you want to play your best round of golf, I highly suggest setting up a fitting appointment at golfplusdothan.com. You can also just use it like we talked about with Alan yesterday. We've got some rain coming up the next couple days, so if you want to still keep your golf game in shape, you can book an hour simulator time over there at Golf Plus, right there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza, or you can do it up there in Dothan as well off the Montgomery Highway, aka 231. Been there for over 36 years serving the community. Another thing I love about Alan and his business, they do a lot of charitable stuff too. They sponsor a lot of stuff here on the show, but they also sponsor a lot of golf tournaments and sponsor teams. They're always supporting. I know they support all the local high schools up there in Dothan as well. So make sure you support Golf Plus. Great locally owned business here in Panama City Beach as well as up there in Dothan. We appreciate Alan for sponsoring our studio here on the Inside Drive. All right, let's talk some Afternoon Delight debriefs. I don't know if this is an Afternoon Delight debrief, but it's pretty cool. Major League Baseball in Orlando, one step closer as group secures $1.5 billion to bring franchise to Central Florida. Orlando, Florida, the Orlando Dreamers, led by Hall of Famer Barry Larkin, says it's one step closer to bringing an MLB franchise to Central Florida. The group on Thursday, that's last Thursday, announced that investors have committed an additional significant financial support totaling close to $1.5 billion in letters of intent and verbal financial commitments. The news comes after the Orlando Dreamers identified an anchor investor to purchase a team and fund a $1.7 billion dome stadium project on a plot of land next to the Aquatica Orange Water Park there in Orange County. I know exactly where that is. We've stayed close to that when I've had to go to PGA shows and all that good stuff. We're extremely pleased with the recent rapid progress in financing interest towards a prospective MLB team acquisition. Larkin said in a release, it's clear that these seasoned investors understand the compelling opportunity represented by our unsurpassed market metrics and proposed state-of-the-art dome stadium located right here in the middle of Orange County tourist corridor that will welcome approximately 80 million tourists this year. The dome stadium would have a capacity for 45,000 and sit right in the middle of the tourist corridor on International Drive, a.k.a. I Drive. Doesn't look like it's too far away from the Orlando Eye, which is that big Ferris wheel there. We feel the heavy lifting part of team acquisition financing and stadium financing has been accomplished. Finding the right anchor investor in our control ownership group and an attractive financing structure for the team's portion of the stadium construction were clearly the most challenging aspects, Jim Schnorf, co-founder of the Orlando Dreamers, said in a statement. I think that's about the gist of it. Schnorf also said the funding letter of interest for the stadium from a major institutional partner will give more than $1 billion towards construction costs. What's the next step for the Orlando Dreamers? They said it will now add staff and move its temporary Maitland office to a permanent location in downtown Orlando. The road to a professional baseball team in Orlando can happen in two ways. The MLB can expand its current roster of teams or could move an existing team to Central Florida. Last month, the Tampa Bay Rays pulled out of a $1.3 billion ballpark deal in St. Petersburg after principal and owner Stuart Sternberg said a series of events in October, which included severe damage to the Tropicana field and financing delays, led to what we called this difficult decision to withdraw from the project to build a new ballpark. Orlando Magic co-founder Pat Williams, who is credited with bringing an NBA franchise to Orlando, spoke with News 6's Justin Warmoth in 2023 about the push to bring baseball to Orlando and how a team could transform Central Florida. What do you think, David? I know you're a big baseball
I don't
fan.
want them to move to Orlando.
The Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, I don't want them to move. No, I mean, if we get into adding another franchise, but one's going to need to be on the West Coast, I would imagine.
Because you have
it doesn't have to be on the coast, but, well, I think they do it without any rhyme nor reason. But when Florida came out, there was, well, I'm sure that there's some, to me, is I don't think that they do it geographically speaking. Gotcha. But in my mind, I think that makes more sense. But when Florida came out, I believe Colorado was that same year, right? 1998, I believe. So, I don't want to see the Rays go to Orlando.
Yeah.
I think that the stadium that they've got built up over there for the Dreamers is absolutely awesome. But here's my thing.
Are the Dreamers a minor league team right now?
I believe they're AA. Don't quote me on that.
But a minor league team nonetheless.
My thing is Florida doesn't need another team, right? A third team. Why do I say that? What are the Marlins and the Rays doing? Now, the Rays have had some success. The Marlins have had great success, right, as a new franchise. But what are they doing with that? And Marlins had to have been before 98. That was the Rays, I believe, that started in 98. So the Marlins had to be before that because I believe they were playing in the World Series. Anyways.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, no, that was wrong. We're not, the teams in Florida are not spending no daggone money. The Miami Marlins are down there just like, oh, we're here, and we'll give you discounts on food when you come to the game. We can give you some all-you-can-eat stuff. The Rays are playing in the daggum AA affiliate for their rival in the Yankees. I mean, to me, Florida doesn't deserve a third franchise, and I don't know if moving to Orlando is going to be the fix, but also at the same time, if it does help, I guess that's great. Selfishly is the reason I don't want them because of just growing up around that team.
Yeah, no doubt. June 10th, 1991 is when the Miami Marlins were indeed founded. They were the Florida Marlins at that time, of course. And
when they had good jerseys.
Yeah.
When they and then put together some really good rosters, too.
Yep, absolutely. I know they definitely did make a World Series trip. But 91, that's wild how long ago that was now.
Okay, make me feel old. I'm just kidding. I don't feel old.
You shouldn't. But I mean, and if they add a new franchise, they got to add 2, right? You have to have those.
Well,
even
I mean,
numbers.
you had the NHL, right? For a while, Vegas was the 31st team.
Yeah, that's
then
true.
They add the Seattle Kraken. There's that. I know Nashville really wants a franchise. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it ends up playing out. But I don't want to see the Rays move, and I don't think that the state of Florida, the way that we've been treating baseball, really deserves another franchise. So award another one to California. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, what, California, Texas, Florida, they're the states with the most, like, out of any sport. Yeah. But, they're also the most populous states as well. Alaska's a big one, too, but not necessarily populated, as the majority of that state is uninhabitable. Yeah. All right, from oddnews.com, cold case, if fallen ice chunk wasn't from a plane, then what happened? Officials are baffled at how something so strange could occur in Florida. Imagine that, in Florida. Ice is going through the roof in Florida, apparently, and the most logical explanation, that a big slab fell from an overhead plane. That has been ruled out, though, by investigators. So, where does that leave things exactly? A 6-foot by 3-foot block of ice recently fell through a metal roof in Palm Coast. This is back in March. Palm Coast, Florida. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The most reasonable theory seems to be that the water leaks from an overhead airplane could have caused ice to form on the outside of the aircraft, but apparently logic and the state of Florida don't have the healthiest relationship, because inspectors at the Federal Aviation Administration didn't find evidence of that theory on planes that were flying in the area when the ice-breaking incident occurred. Okay. I think the FAA should double-check their work, said a local man, because if the ice didn't come from a plane, that leaves few options, doesn't it? The rational man continued. Of course, the local Ice Block Appreciation Club was holding its annual hot air balloon event at the exact time and location, where thousands of people rode in hundreds of air balloons and tossed blocks of ice to each other. But that hardly seems relevant to this story. I think the ice came from aliens, said a 5-year-old girl who was immediately offered a lucrative contract to host her own podcast. There's some satire in this article, obviously. They probably meant it as a peace offering, but it slipped and caused some structural damage instead. A lead investigator was asked if they were certain that the ice didn't fall from a plane, and if this means aliens have arrived and are dropping ice from the sky. The official paused, thought for a moment, and then said, "Which do you think would be a better pun to use for social media headline? In plain sight or ice to meet you?" He then added, "I don't have time for an interview right now and need more time to think about this punny headline question." A lot of satire, but at the same time, that chunk of ice really did fall from the sky through a metal roof. 6 feet by 3 feet.
That's a big block of ice right there. I wonder how long it took to melt.
That's a good question. Put a big old hole in that metal roof, though. Went right through the metal, right through the wood, all that stuff. But kind of wild. Hopefully, there's no ice coming here to the Florida Panhandle, as that looks a little tiny bit dangerous. All right, moving back over to UPI.com. Tennessee Zoo's escaped peacock found in resident's backyard.
I don't think they make
They
that
do
type
make
of
noises. I'm trying to remember what it was, because, when you go to the Fountain of Youth there in St. Augustine, there's a boatload of peacocks that are out and about in that little area. A peacock wandered.
Wait, where at in St. Augustine?
St. Augustine, when you go to the Fountain of Youth.
Okay, I don't know.
So that whole area where you can
Is
go.
that where the fort is? No,
it's a little.
There's a fort in St. Augustine.
There
How
is.
about that?
Yep. Yeah, I did actually mention that earlier. But I'm trying to remember. I think it's when you're going the coast, it's a little bit north up the coast. But you got the Fountain of Youth. It tastes terrible, and you've got. I mean, we're there. Might as well.
Yeah, there you go.
But,
went in Rome.
Yeah, went in St. Augustine. Went at the Fountain of Youth. So far, it's not working. I can confirm that. I'm still getting older. But yeah, there's peacocks everywhere when you're in that little area. Peacock wandered away from his home at Tennessee's Chattanooga Zoo, was found in a nearby resident's backyard the following day, officials said. The zoo said on social media that 2 of the facility's free-roaming peacocks made it past the perimeter fence and exited zoo grounds, but one was quickly recaptured by animal care staff, the other feathered fugitive was found the following day across the street from the zoo in the backyard of a nearby residence, the zoo confirmed. A big thank you to Eric Spear for spotting him and letting us know where he had gone, officials wrote. The zoo said its peafowl are allowed to roam freely on zoo grounds, but are contained by the facility's perimeter fence. They thought that about the T-Rexes at Jurassic Park, too. Officials said the birds have only rarely ventured past the fence in the 40 years they have been allowed to roam, making the escape a very unusual occurrence. And that's what they do with the peacocks down there in St. Augustine, too. But I don't know if there's a perimeter fence. They just have a really big area to roam about. But I'm trying to remember the noise they make, because it'll scare you. They'll just be bebopping around. All of a sudden, they'll make this real loud noise. And you're like, oh, my gosh.
Like little dinosaurs?
Kinda. That actually sounded a little bit familiar. That was pretty good. Maybe you're a peacock whisperer. This is from today, a little bit earlier. Emu escapes trailer on Pennsylvania.
Why is an emu in a trailer?
Emus, they'll bite your fingers off, too.
Yeah, man. I see this. Actually, it might have been an alpaca or whatever, but they're very similar. But it's like, why would you want an animal that just like comes up and just is like bebopping its head at you like that? No,
it's
sir.
A big old strong.
It's crazier than cats
beak.
right there.
Yeah.
I mean, cats are cool, but they can be downright evil, can't they?
They can. Pennsylvania State Police troopers became amateur bird wranglers when a large emu escaped from a trailer and hit the highway. The PSP said the large bird, which some witnesses initially mistook for an ostrich, escaped the trailer about 2 p.m. Monday on the Pennsylvania Turnpike in King of Prussia. There's a really nice mall, the King of Prussia Mall, up there in that neck of the woods. The emu made its way to Interstate 76, where the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation traffic cameras recorded troopers wrangling the large Australian bird off the highway. Troopers kept the emu contained until its owner arrived on the scene to return it to the trailer. No injuries were reported from the flightless animal's time on the loose. That's probably a video worth watching, because emus are tricky. They kick you too, I believe. I know ostriches can kick you.
Don't they spit too, or is that just llamas?
Llamas.
I would think alpacas spit too.
They do. Llamas and alpacas are very similar, and then emus and ostriches are very similar.
Oh, okay. I always get that.
Yeah.
Oh, golly, yeah.
And they lay big eggs, and they can run real fast. They just can't fly, unfortunately. Boy playing with mom's phone orders 70,000 Dum Dum lollipops.
Oh,
that would take some time to go through.
Yeah, that's more than the banks carry.
Yeah, that's true. I've not seen more than probably 30 or 40 of those little dishes.
Yeah, but they got bags somewhere.
Sets on decks waiting for them. May 6th, the Kentucky woman said her young son was playing with her phone during the weekend and secretly, I don't know how secretly, that seems very calculated, and secretly placed an Amazon order for 70,000 Dum Dum lollipops, a total purchase of about $4,200. Lexington resident Holly LaFavor said on social media that she was shocked to discover 30 cases of Dum Dums on her doorstep, each containing 2,340 lollipops in each box. LaFavor's son, Liam, who is in 2nd grade, admitted he had placed an order for suckers while playing with their phone during the weekend. Each case of Dum Dums retails for $130, making Liam's total purchase $4,200. Amazon initially...
You better get to selling them things door to door, baby.
Right? Who's going to buy at retail Dum Dums? Maybe, like you said, dentists, doctors' offices.
Yeah.
Dentists probably not. It's kind of counterproductive.
All right. Let's work on those cavities. Get them things a little bit bigger, baby. That's how. That's the recurring business thing.
Smart repeat customers. Amazon initially agreed to allow LaFavors to return 8 of the 30 cases, so she started attempting to sell the others to friends and neighbors. She later said in an update that after a long day of working with the bank and talking to a few news stations, Amazon contacted her and agreed to refund the entire purchase. Thank you to everyone that offered to buy a box to help us, she wrote. I'll be happy to get what you ordered or donate them to a charity of your choice. I wonder if she had to send them back or not, or Amazon just does what they do with a lot of stuff and just said, just keep it. Just keep it. But yeah, that's a lot of Dum Dums.
It is.
Favorite Dum Dum flavor?
Blue. Anything blue.
Right. That's kind of the bread and butter for most. Ever like to live dangerously and get the mystery flavor?
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times. The root beer is kind of good every now and then.
Every now and then.
I mean, yeah.
There's some that are a little bit not great, but
you know what I was eating the other day? Me and my buddy were playing some video games, and he brought in like a stash of his children's candy.
Nice.
It had Starburst and some sour gummy worms. I was like, man, I forgot how much I love candy.
Yeah, and then
what's your favorite Starburst flavor? It's got to be the pink, right?
Man, pink, red, and orange. I could
pink, red, and orange?
I could interchange any of those.
Hey, the yellow's not the.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
The yellow one feels like you're doing something healthy.
Yeah,
maybe.
it feels that way.
It's
got a little citrus, citrus and a lot of sugar.
Little lemony taste. You got to be careful with those Starbursts, especially if you had bridges and stuff like that in your mouth, because all it takes is getting into it too early and then pulling it right out.
I like I like taking a couple of them and just smashing them together.
A little multi-flavor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The pink and the red is a great. I've done yellow and orange as well.
Ooh,
yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, living dangerously. They've come out with like new flavors too, like the all reds package, and they got like a tropical one. That one's got like
the tropical one.
Like the purple one.
Yeah, it's kind of like Easter colors or whatever. What do you call that? Pastel.
Yes, pastel indeed. The OG Starburst still are for me are my favorite ones there. But
do they have a blue one? I can't remember a blue. I mean, how do you miss out on that flavor being such an iconic candy as Starburst and not have the best flavor? That's not even an actual flavor in blue raspberry, or at least not an actual fruit. I'd love to see some real blue raspberries. That would be amazing.
Hasn't happened yet. There is indeed a blue one. And it is indeed blue raspberry. And
I want a whole bag of them.
Let's see. Amazon. We can.
Yeah, there you go. I'll order 42 cases.
Yeah, we can order a lot of cases there. This is not an actual Starburst, though. This is a drink mix, Jell-O, and then they have them in these what they call Starburst duos, where they have a dual duo there. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I think we got a call if they are in. Okay, I'll hold on one second. We got a few time. Maybe he knows about the blue Starburst. We'll be right back. If we got this caller on the line that wants to join us, we'll have them come in here in the next segment. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Lightly sprinkling and partly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour out of the south and temps near 79. Tonight we will have some clouds and be warm at 72. Mostly cloudy in the morning and then light rain tomorrow and a high 80. Sprinkles Thursday with a temp of 77. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Duplin wines and gourmet products so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
Introducing the Peaceful Living Executive Planner and Daily Agenda, your faithful companion for 2025. Designed to help you navigate life with faith, gratitude, and intentionality, this planner will inspire, uplift, and guide you towards a peaceful and purpose-filled year. Get daily inspirational quotes and a peaceful word of the day, plus weekly challenges and monthly reflections, a vision board to map out your dreams, embrace peace and purpose every day with the Peaceful Living Executive Planner and Daily Agenda. Get yours now at FroyersMin.com.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. From the fairway to the rough.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
From the greens to the bunker.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
The good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You listen to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Real quick, updating today's round for the Florida State Seminoles, who are almost done. They're on holes 17 and 18. One better than yesterday as of right now, unless they drop a shot. They are at 8 under par on the day, making them 15 under par total. That puts them 9 strokes ahead of the second place Georgia Southern. The Eagles are 6 under par on their rounds today, looking pretty good there. They are ranked 34th in the country. Florida State number 3 right now. Kansas State also sitting at even par. They are 15 back at the Seminoles, followed by Southern Cal and Miami. There's a projected cut right now at +5 that would eliminate TCU, Vandy, Pepperdine, Louisville, Western Kentucky, Morehead State, and Fairleigh Dickinson University. Those top 5 then will compete for the top 4, I believe, in tomorrow's round, the third and final round, with the top 4 moving on to the NCAA National Championship. If Florida State can keep up what they're doing, it looks like they've got a good opportunity there to move on to the National Championship again. Right now, Mirabelle Ting is in first place at 9 under par. She's complemented her first round 68 with a 5 under par second round through 17 holes. Lottie Wood, despite shooting 1 under par yesterday, she shot 6 under par today. That is the best round so far individually in the golf tournament, and a big reason why Florida State is leading by so many strokes. Lottie Wood, number 2 ranked golfer in college. Mirabelle Ting, number 1 ranked golfer in college, and I believe Lottie Wood is still the number 1 ranked amateur in the world. So Florida State women's golf looking pretty darn good going into that third and final round. I want to talk a little bit about college baseball. We're going to live in the Baseball America College Baseball Top 25 rankings. As we know, we're getting close to the conference tournaments coming up here pretty soon, and that means regionals and super regionals, and then followed by a College World Series there in June. Again, according to the Baseball America poll, you've also got the Division I poll as well, which is a little bit different, but the Baseball America poll has Georgia at number 1. They were previously ranked number 4. They were 4-0 last week, an overall record of 39-11, 5-19, the very tough SEC, 3-10 versus top 25. Last week they had a game against Kennesaw State. They won that one 9-2, and then swept Missouri May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in a weekend series there against the Missouri Tigers. They've got an upcoming series against number 25 ranked Alabama May 9th, 10th, and 11th. Georgia climbs to the top of a perfect week after including a midweek win over Kennesaw State and a sweep of Missouri. The Bulldogs didn't dominate. They trailed in the 6th inning Saturday and were tied in the 9th inning in Sunday's finale, but ended up taking care of business. State Alford led the way with 4 extra base hits, including the game-winning 2-run homer on Sunday, and 5 Georgia hitters drove in multiple runs. On the mound, starting pitchers Brian Curley and Leighton Finley led the way for the bookend weekend with quality starts. Georgia faces a much tougher test this weekend against number 25 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Number 2, the Texas Longhorns, previous ranking number 1. Last week they had a tough week. They went 1-3. Overall, still 38-8, 9-15 in the SEC, 10-4 versus top 25. Their weekend record is currently 11-1. Last week they had an 11-2 win over Prairie View A&M. The reason why they dropped from number 1 to number 2 is they lost all 3 games against number 10 Arkansas up there in Fayetteville, 9-1, 6-1, and 13-8. They have a game today against Lamar University, and then their series doesn't get much easier with a weekend series against number 22 Florida. It is at home there in Austin. The Longhorns finally turned a dud of a weekend. It turned in a dud of a weekend after they were soundly swept on the road by number 10 Arkansas. At the time, number 10 Arkansas. The Longhorns managed just 1 run on 7 hits over the first 2 games before showing some life in Sunday's finale, jumping out to a 3-0 lead and later going ahead 7-6 in the 5th. But the Razorbacks closed with 7 unanswered runs to complete the sweep. There weren't many positives last weekend, though Cody Howard on Friday spun 3.1 shutout innings in relief of Jalen Flores to drive in 4 runs. Flushing away this week won't be easy for Texas. After a tricky midweek matchup against Lamar, it welcomes a surging number 22 ranked Florida to the dish. Number 3, they were ranked 10th last year in the Baseball America poll. That is the Arkansas Razorbacks coming off that win, that sweep of number 1 Texas. That's why they bounced all the way up to number 3. Last week they were 3-0 overall, 40-9, 17-7 in the SEC, 11-3 versus top 25 teams, a weekend record of 9-3. As we already mentioned, they won all 3 games against the Texas Longhorns. They got a huge series coming up this weekend down in Baton Rouge against the number 6 ranked LSU Tigers. Arkansas ascends to 3rd after an emphatic sweep of the number 1 Texas Longhorns, outscoring the Longhorns 28-9 over the weekend. Zach Root delivered a career-best outing on Friday with 11 strikeouts over 8 shutout innings while allowing just 2 singles. The next day, the trio of Gage Wood, Gabe Gackle, Gabe Gackle and Aiden Jimenez combined for 9 scoreless innings with 15 strikeouts to limit Texas to just 1 run. Sounds like a pretty good trio of pitchers there. The offense capped the weekend off with a 5-homer outburst on Sunday, led by Reese Robinette's 2 blasts. In total, 7 Razorbacks logged multi-RBI weekends. Arkansas now hits the road for a top 10 showdown against number 6 LSU and the always raucous Alex Bach Stadium. Number 4, North Carolina. I'm going to skip over them and stay in the SEC. Number 5, the Auburn Tigers. Previous ranking number 5. Last week they went 3-1. Overall record is 33-15, 13-11 in SEC, 14-10 versus top 25 with a weekend record of 10-2. This past week they had a neutral site victory over the Samford Bulldogs 3-0, and then they had to travel up to Rocky Top in Tennessee for a 3-game series against the number 7 ranked Volunteers. They won the first game 6-1, lost the second game in extra innings 5-4, went all the way to 11, and then they beat Tennessee 8-1 in that final game of the series. They're going to be taking on South Carolina at home this upcoming weekend. Auburn picked up a gutsy road win against number 7 Tennessee. Right-hander Samuel Dutton is in midst of a career year and set the tone with 6.2 innings of 1-run ball and 8 strikeouts. After dropping the middle game despite a go-ahead Chase Fralick single in the top of the 9th, the Tigers bounced back with a 4-run inning in Sunday's finale to secure the series. Ike Irish continued his tear with 5 RBIs, though Auburn's pitching stole the show. After Dutton's quality start, Christian Chatterton, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, 0 balls, and 2 strikeouts, and Cade Fisher put a bow on the weekend with an impressive tag team performance. Auburn this weekend hosts a struggling South Carolina. LSU, as I mentioned, they'll be taking on number 3 Arkansas this upcoming weekend. Florida State currently sitting at number 7 in the Baseball America rankings. Previous ranking was 19. Last week they went 2-1 overall, 33-10, 4-7 in the ACC, 5-6 versus top 25. Weekend record of 9-2. They had a decent week last week. They took on Lipscomb University for a early week showdown. They won that one 11-1, and then had to play number 4 LSU in a series in Baton Rouge, and they lost 2 out of 3 in that one. They lost 6-3, they won 9-3, and then lost 12-2 in 8 innings. They got a weekend series going up against, they play Jacksonville University tonight, and then they've got a trip out west to take on the California Golden Bears.
Wild. ACC baseball all the way out west.
All the way out west. That's a short trip to play a 3-game series. And I don't know if Berkeley is the best place you want to hang out for a long weekend, but Florida State surges back into the top 10 after a statement series win over then number 2 Clemson. Friday's opener was the Max Williams game. After tying the game in the 4th, Florida State watched Clemson retake the lead in the top of the 10th, only for Williams to homer and tie it again that inning, then deliver a walk-off single in the bottom of the 11th. Sunday's finale was equally wild. Florida State jumped out to a 10-0 lead by the 3rd inning, saw its lead shrink to 11-9, then responded with a 5-homer barrage between the 6th and 8th innings. Drew Farrott hit 2, Miles Bailey, Alex Lodice, and Williams added 1 apiece. Bailey 5, Lodice 4, and Farrott 4 drove in 13 of Florida State's 19 runs. This week, the Seminoles host Jacksonville before a cross-country trip to face California. Number 8. the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Previous ranking number 11. Last week they went 4-0, 37-11 overall, 20-4 in the Sun Belt Conference, 2-2 against top 25. Weekend record of 11-1. Last week they had a game against UNC Greensboro. They won that one 8-2 and then swept the Appalachian State Mountaineers with an 11-1 victory, 6-2 victory, and a 10-1 victory. They've got a pretty big-time game coming up tonight in Conway, South Carolina, as they'll host the number 12 ranked Clemson Tigers for a little midweek action, and then they'll make the trip over to Louisiana to take on Sun Belt Conference foe Louisiana Monroe this this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Chanticleers soar into the top 10 for the first time this season following a perfect week that included a road win at UNC Greensboro and a sound sweep of Appalachian State. Coastal trailed for just one inning all weekend. Pato Blagan's two home runs and 7 RBIs led the way offensively, but the Chants pitching dazzled. Towering right-hander Jacob Morrison struck out 8 across 7 shutout innings, while the following afternoon, Cameron Floki allowed 2 runs on 5 hits with 9 strikeouts in his 7 innings of work. On top of a pair of quality starts, Chanticleer's bullpen combined to allow 2 runs across 9 innings following a midweek clash against number 12 Clemson. Coastal hits the weekend to host last place University of Louisiana Monroe. Number 9 in the Baseball America rankings is West Virginia. Take me home. Number 8, West Virginia, 2-2 last week, 39-7 overall, 18-4 in the Big 12, 1-2 against top 25 with a weekend record of 11-1. Last week they had a neutral site game against Marshall. They lost that one 7-6. Texas Tech, they lost that one 3-game series 6-4, and then won the other 2 to win the series. That was 3-2 and 5-0. Upcoming, they've got a game against Pittsburgh tonight on the road, and then they travel to Manhattan, Kansas to take on the Kansas State Wildcats for a 3-game series. That is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. West Virginia's week was gritty, not pretty, after it grinded out a series win despite an 0-2 start into the week following Tuesday's walk-off loss to Marshall and Friday's series opening defeat to Texas Tech. The Mountaineers flipped a switch, especially on the mound, and notched a pair of key wins. In Saturday's doubleheader, Reese Bassinger just allowed 2 runs across 7 stellar innings of relief, while Sunday, Jack Cartsonas and Carson Estridge combined for a shutout. West Virginia's offense wasn't overly explosive, though 4 different Mountaineers hitters drove in multiple runs. West Virginia now heads to Pittsburgh for a midweek rivalry game before a road series at Kansas State. Dave Neat's Oregon Ducks coming in at number 10, previously ranking number 12, 3-1 last week, 33-13 overall, 16-8 in the Big 10. They are the Ducks, and they're now in the Big 10. 6-1 versus top 25. Weekend record of 11-4. They lost to state rival Oregon State. Their number 16th ranked Oregon State Beavers, 8-4. And then they went over to East Lansing to take on Sparty and did win the series. Lost the opening game 2-0. Then came back strong in the second game and won 13-5, followed by a 3-1 win. Oregon remained hot with his 4th straight win over rival Oregon State in a midweek gritty road series victory at Michigan State. After being shut out Friday, the Ducks responded with a 4-run first inning Saturday. Outfielder Mason Neville blasted his nation-leading 22nd and 23rd home runs, while on Sunday, right-hander Jason Reitz allowed 1 run across 6.6 and 1/3 innings. After Reitz's day was done, Cole Stokes and Seth Maddox slammed the door with 2.2 shutout innings. In addition to Neville, Asen Rose crushed 2 home runs of his own. A busy 5-game week lies ahead for Oregon, which returns home to take on St. Mary's, and then a 3-game series with Washington. Number 11, Vanderbilt. Number 12, Clemson. Number 13, Tennessee. Number 14, Troy. So 2 so far in the top 25 there in the Baseball America from the Sun Belt Conference. Oregon State Beavers at number 15. Oklahoma Sooners at 16. UC Irvine at number 17, followed by Ole Miss at 18. Louisville at 19. Dallas Baptist, David Hayes' favorite baseball college. DBU.
It's
second favorite.
I've got a soft spot for them when it comes to the regionals and super regionals.
They like to make some noise.
Yeah, and they've been making a lot of it this year, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having a great season again. Previously ranked 25, now ranked 20th. NC State at 21st. Florida back in the Baseball America Top 25 at number 22, Arizona at number 23, and then you've got UCLA coming in at 24, and right now the 25 spot in the Baseball America pool, the Alabama Crimson Tide. 36-12 on the season, 13-11 in the SEC, 9-9 versus top 25. Last weekend they faced a tough foe in number 14 Vanderbilt, dropped 2 out of those 3, but they have a chance to beat number 14th ranked Troy on the road. So if you want to make a trip up to Troy this evening, you go see them take on Alabama, and then it doesn't get any easier as they will be taking on number 1 Georgia. Good news is indeed at home. Extending its series against a win. Excluding its series against winless Missouri, Alabama hasn't won a conference series since Week 7 when it defeated Oklahoma and continued that concerning trend in Week 12, dropping 2 out of the 3 to Vanderbilt, including a quitting loss on Sunday's finale after leading 7-2 in the 8th. The Crimson Tide's strong metrics, number 13 RPI and number 28 strength of schedule, keep them barely inside the top 25, but with upcoming games against number 14 Troy and number 1 Georgia, their hold on the ranking is very much in jeopardy. A lot of SEC teams in that 25, 3 Sunbelt teams, or excuse me, I think just 2 Sunbelt teams in that top 25, but in the other baseball poll, I think Southern Miss is in there as well. But hadn't talked about college baseball in a little while, so just wanted to kind of update everybody on that as we're getting ever so closer to the conference tournaments as well as the regional playoffs.
Yeah, how many more weekends do we have? Do you know that off?
Not off the top of my head. Let me just see. When is the SEC baseball tournament?
It's normally like middle of May, isn't it? Or is it early June?
May 20th through 25th.
Okay.
So what? They probably got
2 more weekends.
2 more weekends of series, and then they'll be rolling right into the conference championship, right up there in Hoover, Alabama. A great place to go to watch a lot of SEC baseball in a short period of time, which obviously SEC baseball, some of the best in the land. So if you have an opportunity to go up there and check it out, I would certainly encourage you to do that. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. Final segment coming up next. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Tonight, the Atlanta Braves continue their homestand at Truist Park.
Riley charges one up, soaring high into the heavens and disappearing into the seats.
It's the Braves versus the Cincinnati Reds. First pitch, 6:15. Listen to live play-by-play in a rich audio experience on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Big Memorial Day mattress sale going on now at the Sleep Center. Stop by the Sleep Center and you can save up to $800 on select Stearns & Foster adjustable mattress sets. Stearns & Foster, made in the USA, and available at
Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
Big Memorial Day mattress sale going on now at the Sleep Center. Stop by the Sleep Center and you can save up to $800 on select Stearns & Foster adjustable mattress sets. Stearns & Foster, made in the USA, and available at
Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Bus Studios, it's the Inside Drive.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Early in the morning, rising to the street. Hey. Light me up that cigarette and I'll strap shoes on my feet. Take it. I blew it. It sounds just like it, though, right? Man.
Was that Two Princes, right? Spin Doctors? No.
Sublime, what I got.
Yeah, Sublime.
I was going to have to stop anyway because it gets to that potty word and I can't say it. But it sounds just like that beat. Sounds just like that beat. But you're listening to The Inside Drive, me doing terrible remembering of lyrics. It's usually my short-term memory, not my long-term memory. It's a little different spot there up in the old noggin, but...
yeah, that was... did you share that graphic, or was it
Beth?
Like, what your brain does, which, we learned about that in school, but still, that's not something that I'm always thinking about. Well,
yes.
my cerebellum and what it's responsible for.
That's your athletic spot right there.
Sir.
Cerebellum. That's all your motor functions and all that good stuff. But yeah.
That's why it's depleting. Too many concussions, too many times falling on the back of my daggum head.
That's right, getting hit by cars, etc., etc. Oh, yes, the brain is a very sensitive organ, and it's protected by the old blood barrier, which is why it makes treating the brain when you have cancer so much more difficult, because a lot of things just don't penetrate that blood barrier, which we're learning about. And I also want to give Beth a shout-out for putting all that stuff out there. She's doing the Go Gray in Maine. She's putting a different fact information out every day. And it's cool because there's actually been several people that have reached out to her, including one person last night, that it's either encouraged them to get her second opinion or encouraged them to go get a procedure done and do different things. So I'm proud of her for putting, herself out there, putting our situation out there, just mainly to help other people if, they haven't seen or different things. So
she's a bulldog, man.
She is. I'm very, very lucky to have her in my life because as we continue to fight this battle, she is at the top of the ship leading the way. And without her, we probably wouldn't be as far along as we are now. But I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about my guy, Brock Purdy.
Let's do it.
And I got to defend him a little bit, too, because everybody loves to talk crap on Brock. Like, did he have weapons last year? No, not really. Do all quarterbacks need to have weapons to be successful? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not Tom Brady because he didn't have. Well, when he got Randy Moss, we saw what happened, and obviously he threw for the record number of touchdowns and yards and all that stuff.
They went stupid.
He just go route over and over again. But Bleacher Report: Brock Purdy reportedly expected to get a new 49ers contract around $50 million per season. According to Mike Jones, The Athletic, he reported on Monday that San Francisco 49ers quarterback is expected to wind up with a contract that will pay him around $50 million per season and places him among the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. Brock Purdy, the final pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, is in line to make $5.3 million in base salary in 2025, which is the final year of his rookie contract. It now seems like it's a matter of when, not if, Purdy gets paid, Jones wrote. He noted the Niners have been trying to work out a deal that gives the quarterback long-term security and also avoids any holdouts in the summer or early season. San Francisco obviously just made George Kittle the highest paid tight end in league history with a 4-year, $76.4 million contract extension, and now are shifting attention to the signal caller's contract situation. Purdy certainly doesn't seem like he was preparing for a holdout when he arrived at the team's first day of voluntary offseason workouts last month. He also told reporters in January he didn't want a prolonged process that landed throughout the offseason. If there's an opportunity to get it done quick, that would be great, Purdy said, just so we can get back to phase one, get after it with the receivers in our team, and just continue to grow because, man, we've all got to grow together. Phase one of OTAs, in my mind, it's we come back, get all the guys back, and let's roll, and let's get after the offseason together. With all that being said, I kind of wanted to take a dive into quarterbacks that are currently being paid over $50 million a year. David Hayes, I want to just, have you see if you can elaborate on what successes these particular quarterbacks have had so far. Number one in the league, I think we all know, getting paid $60 million a year. That is the Dallas Cowboys signal caller, quarterback Dak Prescott. Obviously, the Cowboys have kind of been struggling, over the years, haven't had a deep playoff run in quite some time. But obviously, Dak's being paid the most in the league right now from the quarterback side of things. Number two on that list, arguably been very successful. That was last year's MVP winner. He is tied for second at $55 million with this quarterback from the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. Obviously, both of those gentlemen have had a good bit of success. Obviously, Josh Allen making it to the AFC Championship championship, only to be beaten multiple times by Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Burrow has had a Super Bowl appearance when they lost to the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. That should have been the dang Niners, and Jimmy Ward just would have caught that interception from Matt Stafford at the time. But, hey, ifs and buts for candies and nuts. Another gentleman getting paid $55 million a year. That is the signal caller for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence.
Forgot about that.
That's why, people want to say, bro, Purdy shouldn't be paid that high. Look at the list of guys getting paid $50 million.
I mean, you're right. Some of those guys.
Yeah. Obviously, the Jaguars have made the playoffs, but haven't had any real big success in the playoffs. Next, also tied for second at $55 million per year, Packers quarterback Jordan Love, who had a little bit of success there in the playoffs, but still hasn't got to the conference championship game yet, but being paid $55 million to do so. And then sixth on the list, because we had a 5-way tie there for second, Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who's being paid $53.1 million a year to not really play that much football. When he's in, he does pretty good, but, again, a guy being paid a lot of money for, not a ton of success. Number 7 on the list, being paid $53 million. He's been successful. Made it to the Super Bowl last year, or not last year. They made it to the NFC Championship the last 2 years in a row. That's Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff.
Yeah.
53.
He's been in the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, he has with the Rams. And then number 8 on the list, being paid $52.5 million.
I didn't know we had so many quarterbacks over 50.
That's why I wanted to do it. Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert being paid.
AG, which happy birthday, Adam Goff.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, AG.
But he's definitely a off that train, off the Justin Herbert getting paid train.
$52.5 million for a couple playoff appearances, I think.
Yeah, I mean they've definitely back-to-back years, right? But then, what was it? Maybe not last year, but the year prior to that, where they had the Jaguars, dead to rights, and then the Jaguars just stormed back, which helps, I think, in the long run, maybe get Trevor Lawrence some of that back that he got.
One moment.
One shining moment, just like the NCAA tournament.
That's it. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson coming in at $52 million. I think we could say that he's probably worth that.
I mean, when you talk Lamar, when you talk Joe Burrow, I think still has a little bit to prove, but he's already got the bag. But when you talk about the top 4, top 5 guys, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, those guys, no complaint at all about the money. Did I say Josh Allen? If I didn't say Josh Allen included in all of that.
Well, and next, you just mentioned him from the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts getting paid $51 million a year. And then it drops down there. Kyler Murray's getting paid $46.1 million a year, which is just a ton of money. So if Brock comes in at that 50 spot, I think it's kind of fair, right? He's been to an NFC championship, lost that because obviously he tore his UCL and was out of the game. They really didn't have a chance at that point, and then made it to the Super Bowl the following year. I know he's young in the league. This is only his 4th year he's about to start, but obviously I know Lynch and Shanahan and the York family were very, very happy that he's come to fruition because of how much of a disaster the whole Trey Lance situation was. But so likely to get a contract done here any moment, probably coming around that $50 million annual contract value a year. Probably will get them some good bonuses as well. The New York Islanders won the 2025 NHL draft.
Well, hold on real quick, though, not to get off of the Brock Purdy situation, right? Just because I'm right there with you. When you hear some of those names, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, when you hear how much they're getting paid, it's like, yes, Brock deserves to be in that same stratosphere, financially speaking. The other thing is we've seen the 49ers do this over and over again. Not extend their quarterbacks, not give their quarterbacks big money, but find a guy, find a hidden gem, if you will, and he turns in to be a really good quarterback. Now, when you spend your money on what made him so good was all of the weapons that he did have around him. Like, are you worried about that side of it, that you might start losing the ability to field a team around the quarterback because you're spending so much money? And if Brock isn't that guy, because I put him on like the same plan. I know that he's had more success, but I would put him in that Trevor Lawrence tier.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's 100% fair.
I think he's a great athlete when it comes to that. I think that he's underrated when it comes to his athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last year when he was having to run a lot more because his offensive line was atrocious.
I mean, and really when they don't have Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers, yes, they get a lot of production out of their run game, but they're just not the same team when they have the ever so dangerous Christian McCaffrey out there who's healthy.
And it looks like he's had a good recovery, and he's at 100% because he's back to doing normal Christian McCaffrey stuff.
That old bilateral ACL tear.
Yeah, bilateral Achilles tendon.
Achilles.
Not tear,
right.
just what was it? Bilateral Achilles tendon. It wasn't inflammation. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Like a word. I forget what the word is. But anyway, I mean, and Ayuk, hopefully, I don't know if he'll be ready for week 1, still coming off that ACL tear. But, can they develop Ricky Pearsall? Can they develop? They got a couple other good receivers in the draft. So they've been known to really find guys and develop them. So hopefully that'll continue to be the case. And hopefully he's worth every penny of that. But just to have some stability in that position, which feels like we haven't had stability in that position since Jeff Garcia, which was such a long time ago. Obviously, we had a little small run there with Colin Kaepernick, a Super Bowl run where we lost to the Ravens in the blackout Super Bowl where the power went out down there.
That was a wild Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was a wild Super Bowl. Still bitter about that one, too.
Yeah.
When you drop a fumble when you could have put the game away if you just caught the dang fumble. That's what you're supposed to do as a punt returner. Catch the I know it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but you're getting paid money to do that particular thing. Kickers get cut like Justin Tucker, and those returner guys are very, very important.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens, obviously. And real quick, the NHL draft order, for those who are excited about it. The Islanders did get the number 1 pick in the lottery, followed by the San Jose Sharks. Max will be excited. The Chicago Blackhawks got the 3rd pick, followed by the Utah Hockey Club.
That's what we're calling them right now.
I know they're working on getting a mascot and a particular, whatever you call that, name. Name's probably not the right word.
The Utah Utopian Hockey Players.
There you go. The Utah Jazz. Or the Utah Swing. There you go.
Yeah, there you go, the Utah Swing.
And then the Nashville Predators got the number 5 pick in the upcoming 2025 NFL or NHL draft. Real quick, reminding everybody, we do have some baseball action. We don't have any softball action until tomorrow night. We'll go over that tomorrow as well. But Holmes County will be taking on Jay. They won the first game in that series in the regional finals for the Class 5, or excuse me, the Class Rural. I don't know why I said 5. I've been enjoying saying the word rural. They won the first game 10-5. Have an opportunity tonight up there in Holmes County to close out that series and move on to the state championship and the Final Four. And which is right around the corner. I know Bozeman's got themselves a little bit of hole. Maybe they'll get some pitching tonight that'll slow down the powerhouse of Trinity Christian, as Bozeman did lose the first game 10-0. But like I said earlier, they lost that first game in the Bowls series as well, 5-17. So they've certainly got a good chance to win tonight and force that pivotal Game 3, which I believe would be back here in Bay County at Bozeman if it goes to that third
Let's go
game.
Bucks.
Let's go Bucks indeed. But Jeff Patton has just done an absolutely fantastic job over there as long as I can remember with the Bozeman Bucks baseball team. If you're wanting to watch some other wanting to watch local baseball tonight, you can head over there to Arnold's campus as they will be hosting Clay for the second game in the series. They won 2-0 in the game yesterday. That game's coming up at 7 p.m. tonight. I believe Cooper Moss is on the mound. If they can get the win, they'll be heading to Fort Myers for the state championship there, the Final Four. So good luck to the Arnold Marlins and the Bozeman Bucks. And then also over there in Class 5A, you've got the Niceville Eagles taking on Lincoln. That'll be tomorrow night, as I think they got underway yesterday. Or they haven't got underway yet. I guess the bigger 5A's got a little bit more games that have to get underway. David Hayes, real quick, we don't have hardly any time at all, but we got a couple games coming up tonight in the hockey side of things. Capitals, Hurricanes, who you got?
Let's go Hurricanes to win Game 1.
Ooh, I like it.
So bet the Capitals, y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
If you hear me pick it, go the opposite.
Oilers, Golden Knights.
Give me Vegas Golden Knights to win Game 1.
I like it. All right, on the basketball side of things, your Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can Indiana steal another game up there and bring a 2-0 lead back to the Fieldhouse?
I noticed that Darius Garland's numbers were up on Hard Rock, so like maybe he's playing tonight. I do think, again, that the Cavaliers are overall the better team, at least of what they've exemplified throughout the season. But I'm going to stick with the gold and blue. Let's go Pacers.
That's it. That would be huge if they could steal both of those up there, and then have the potential to win it at home. Man, the fans would be excited. And last but not least, before we got to go, the Warriors and the Timberwolves getting started with their series tonight.
Man, Anthony Edwards, one of the most fun guys to watch. I think they get game one. Okay. Both teams go over 109. Come on, Dake.
There you go. Dake giving us the info. Afternoon Underdogs coming at 4, followed by the Braves and the Reds at 6:15. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. The Warriors had no